Do good work is not a label, but a way of living. It is the constant and diligent effort to achieve a new level of excellence in one's own life. It is the hidden inner beauty behind the struggle to achieve excellence. It's not perfect, but imperfect. It is the effort, discipline, and focus that often goes unnoticed. The goal of Do Good Work is to highlight that drive. The guests I have on this show emulate this drive in their own special way. You'll be able to apply new ideas into your own life by learning from them. We will also have one-on-one episodes with me where we'll dive into my own experience with entrepreneurship and leadership. Every episode is designed to provide you with ideas that you can apply and grow in excellence in all areas of your life, business, and career.
There's a certain characteristic that I've seen across for high performers, either within my own network or with clients or with people that I've been able to interview on the podcast. And there is this characteristic. I'm not sure if it's like a defining characteristic, but it's definitely a choice. And the choice is choosing responsibility. Now, with responsibility, I believe that this is a cornerstone to leadership. And I think this is a cornerstone to a highly effective life or business. Because with responsibility, you really do have two options with this. You can either hide from it or you can choose it. Either one of those is a choice. Choose to embrace it or choose to hide from it. So when you have responsibility, this makes sure that it's not always easy to face the things that we don't want to. And if you're running a company and organization, there are some things that might be uncomfortable, and that's just part of the game. It's just part of human life. I don't think that there's anything in life that we'll do that's not uncomfortable. If you know me personally, like waking up early and trying to work out when I definitely don't feel like it, like I always don't feel like it. Maybe I should just change my wording. I sometimes don't feel like it, but I know that it's not comfortable, but I know at the end it's going to be worth it and that I'll feel amazing. And I know that's a really simple and silly example, but I think it's important to be able to look at what are the things that we're deterring that we don't want to take ownership and responsibility for. Especially when you're a leader and you're focusing on an organization and leading a team, responsibility is a critical part of your role, the way that you address things, that way that you help a community move forward, your organization, your team. It's definitely something that's extremely important to focus and emphasize on what are the responsibilities that I'm giving away or that I'm not actually addressing and that I'm hiding from, and being able to, how can I address them in a very, forefront matter, like a matter to address directly and not shy away from it. Because it's always a choice. We're either going to take ownership of this responsibility or we're not going to. And there is something that I've observed that is what I would call a responsibility paradox, is that when you add the responsibility or you take something on, even though it might be uncomfortable, and I'm not going to shy away from the fact that, sometimes things in life are very uncomfortable. There is suffering in life. But when you take that on, I find it that, it's not mindset, but that we'll find a way to make room for it, that we'll find a way to make it work, that we expand our capacity by embracing this. And by doing though, we become a greater person. We can now, withstand or face forward or handle or control something new that we've been avoiding. So I know this might be a little bit abstract to review, and you might agree with me, but I do believe that when it comes to responsibility, it's something that, let me give you a really simple example, right? Like I've heard the stories, I've seen the stories, I've worked with people in my life, include to like when you begin, let's say your career or your trajectory or your business, like the complete transformation stories. I was here and then now I'm over here and way different. What happened? And it sometimes may not be shared, but one of the key components in the beginning where you decide to make a change in your life, in your business, in your career, whatever you're like, deciding to change, in your health even, there is that choice to take responsibility for it. Because there is that awareness that not a lot of people are going to care. Very few outside of family, like I wouldn't say no one, are going to care more about your problems or the things that you have to face than you. And the choice to really rein in on those problems headstrong, that choice is now something for you to be able to transform and move forward to. So that is my overview and responsibility. I think that it's something that isn't talked about as much. I know ownership it's talked about, but it's also responsibility, because it takes a hold of you in your personal life, in your career, with your team. If you're running an organization or you're working within a department, it's definitely something that elicits like who we are as a person, like our values, our ethics, and how we make choices. But it's just trying to encourage you, when you see the responsibilities that we're shying away from, how can we proactively move towards them? How can we actually address them? How can we actually take them in by the horns? How can we change the direction in our life, or change or influence new directions by holding fast to our responsibilities and not shying away? And I believe that you will be surprised that you are more than capable of doing that, because if you're willing to make the choice to embrace that, then you will see that you're willing to make more choices to sustain and handle and even increase your capacity to handle those responsibilities.